Hi, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the Vet Method podcast, where we bring team training concepts to practices who want to grow revenues through leveraging a high-performance team. My name is Sanjay Mangabai, and I'm based in the southwest of the UK. And today, I'm delighted to be joined by Kelly Baltzell. Hi, Kelly. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
So, Kelly, whereabouts are you?
I am right outside Minneapolis, Minnesota, in the United States.
Okay, fantastic. So a little bit about Kelly. She's president and CEO of Beyond Indigo Pets, which she founded in 1997. Under her leadership, Beyond Indigo Pets has developed all types of veterinary websites and marketing that now reaches millions of people each year in multiple countries. Since 2015, Beyond Indigo has been a certified Google AdWords partner. Additionally, since 2011, Kelly has been a monthly columnist for the American Animal Hospital Association's Marketlink. She has also spoken and been published in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and the UK. Kelly graduated from George Washington University with a degree in International Affairs and Economics and received her master's degree in Counselling and Psychology from St. Mary's. Wow, Kelly, so many accomplishments. Looks like you've been really busy.
Yeah, I don't like being bored. So I like creating.
Good. So the title of the podcast is Google is Your Customer Too. And we're going to talk about that for the next few minutes. Okay, Kelly. So we'll dive right into it if that's okay.
That's fine. Let's go.
Let's start with question number one. Kelly, who is your ideal client?
Gosh, my ideal client is the person or practice who wants to embrace marketing, or at least trust us enough with marketing. Because marketing is like, it's hard. It's hard for veterinarians to get their heads around. But really, like, is willing maybe to go out of their comfort zone just a little bit and go, yeah, I can have other people help me with this task for my practice.
Absolutely. If other vets are anything like me, marketing was a kind of reluctant necessity that I put myself through. My genius was in the veterinary work. Well, I wasn't a genius at it, but that's what I thought I was good at. And marketing was just kind of a necessary evil that I had to put up with. But then, we started hearing statistics from Google and other places where people checked you out, or they looked at your reviews before they came into the practice, and they even checked what you said after they went out.
Right.
Has that been your experience, Kelly?
Yes. I mean, the internet is our world to stay, and especially with the younger generations growing up, that's all they know how to do, right? Yeah. Even my daughter uses her phone in school. They've just incorporated it and now just look it up, right? Like, instead of trying to say, don't use it, use it as a tool. And so pet owners are doing the same thing too. And yeah, you're correct. Like, most veterinarians rather get a root canal than working, right? Yes. Yeah. And it's interesting because we were talking a little bit about the show is partly the medicine pretty much stays the course. It changes and it meanders and it evolves and it improves. But from day to day, it pretty much just stays the course. Whereas digital marketing, every single moment while we're sitting here and speaking, every single platform out there is changing, and sometimes at an exponential rate. And sometimes they just go in a 180-degree direction, which was okay today is not okay tomorrow. And that's exhausting and confusing and overwhelming and frustrating if you're not that personality type who likes change. And that's okay, right? But working with a marketing company just changes and stays on top of all this information all day long. So give yourself a break. First of all, as a veterinary hospital or veterinary owner, and you think you can do it inside, you can't, because you're trying to stuff my entire team of 20 people into one person and expect them to do the job. It's not possible, right? It's just there's too much knowledge. It's too much exponential. I started in marketing in 1995 on the internet, and back then you could do it one person. People still had servers in the basement hooked up to telephone wires.
Yeah.
So
I guess your ideal client would be someone who recognizes that they can't do it all, and that this is changing so fast that they can't keep up, and it's better to outsource it in a way. Yeah. Okay.
It is, because I am not doing my own dog's neuter on the kitchen table.
Absolutely perfect. That leads us nicely on to question number 2. What's the biggest problem your clients face, and how do you help them solve it?
The biggest problem is it really kind of depends on the problem. So it depends on the size of the practice and where you're located, if you're individual or if you're corporate, right? So all of that, the problem. I would say the unifying string that throws through all of it is the lack of knowledge. So one of them is the lack of knowledge that I tell people all the time is Google and other platforms is actually one of your customers. So a lot of all those practices, regardless of your walk of life in the veterinary space, all focus on existing or new clients. And that's okay. That's one of the things. But equally important is Google and Facebook and all those people. Those are actually, when we're doing marketing for practices, that's one of your clients. So weekly, to keep those platforms happy, that absolutely has nothing to do with humans.
Yeah.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So you have to look at the whole playing field versus just focusing on one thing and thinking marketing is only for new clients. No, marketing has a lot more to it.
Absolutely. So it's because people get that impression of who you are from social media and Google, if you get that wrong, then that it's not about the medicine. It used to be all about the medicine, but I think marketing is probably 50% as important nowadays, in getting your story out there, who you are, what your values are, and getting it out there on Google and Facebook, so that clients' perception of who you are is what attracts them in a way.
For like staffing, because a lot of practices can't find staffing. So I was asking one of the recruiter companies here in the United States, I said, what are your people looking for that you're trying to place, that are coming and saying, I want a new position? And they're like, and they said, hands down, it's always the reviews. If a practice has crappy reviews, they don't want to talk to them. And if the website doesn't look right, they don't want to talk to them. And so, even marketing, keeping your marketing up for getting good staff is really important. I mean, and this is things that is ignorance, right? You just don't think about that marketing actually is conversations and perceptions, and it can affect all aspects of you doing business, right?
Yeah. So that's a really good point. If we already covered a really good point that Google is your customer, as is the title of the podcast, and it's important to keep on top of that. Thank you, Kelly. That's great. Question number 3: what are the typical symptoms that people experience with their problem? Their pain points.
Their pain points is they just don't. They're wild-eyed and crazy is what happens. They're just like, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. Always is the receptionist, his nephew was running the website or the Facebook page, and it's now it's gone. It's just the amount of the symptoms are the amount of overload that's coming, and I can't handle it anymore, or they're trying to juggle and it's not working. Like, it's just the consistency is gone.
Absolutely. So they recognize it needs to get done, but they try and do it themselves, or a relative, or maybe even someone in the practice who says they're quite good at it. But but it needs a lot more than that. They just don't stop and maybe take the time to think and look at how to get it done. How to get it done.
Or then I'll say, did you know Google just did this? No. Well, that little shift Google did just dropped you 20 positions in Google. And they're like, what? Show me. And I'm like, okay. I mean, it's publicly available information. I'm not making this up, right? So, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you for that, Kelly. Question number 4. What are the common mistakes that people make when trying to solve their problem. The things they thought that they would try, but that don't work.
Wow. So there's a couple of them. So one, it's fear-based, and they don't want to do it. Like, go back to the root canal. So that sets them up for failure there, because they're just frantic and they're just trying to find a Band-Aid for the solution and make it go away. Right. So whenever you do something in a hurried, fear-based moment, you stack the deck against you for success. Not saying that sometimes you do have success, but the odds are not in your favor. Right. So what we've seen people do is, I'll assign it to my practice manager, lead tech, or whoever who already has a full plate. Right. And then they think that they can just shove it into the cracks of time and just, because it's just posting, isn't it? Well, no, it's only 1% of people who like your page will see your posts. So what about the other 99% of the people who see your page? Right. On a day, it might be 3 to 4% if it goes viral. So there's a huge chunk who doesn't see it, right? So where's that engagement? Where's that just to existing clients, not even new ones, just that whole who we are camaraderie type of things, which is even more important online now with COVID in the last 2 years, because people, that was your online presence now is your new lobby. That's where people see you, like, where they're having conversations. So the franticness is a solution that doesn't work. And that appears as putting it on the staff, putting it on staff's friends and neighbors and family, and also just going to a convention and finding the first marketing booth that you find and saying, I'll take it, and not even thinking if it's a good fit. I mean, marketing is a partnership. So not everybody's a good fit with everybody. And you need to just take a moment and go, what are my needs? What are my wants? And also I would tell them, and this is something else people don't look at, is style. Like, how do you communicate as a human being? What do you need? Do you like pressure, and somebody in your face all the time? Oh, you don't? Then that's not a company for you, right? If you like that fast acting pressure, then maybe that company is for you, right? So knowing thyself is the first step of finding the people. Because like anything, if we don't like something, we avoid it, which then we aren't going to work with our marketing company because we hate it, and we avoid it. It's not going to work, and then it's going to fail. And then it's just self-fulfilling prophecy that marketing sucks.
Yeah, that's so true. So true, Kelly. Do you offer some kind of a free consultation where clients can talk to you about their needs and you can decide if it's a good fit between them and you?
Always. Yeah, and we listen. That's, I think, what sets us apart is we listen. The first thing I'll ask you when you come talk to us, and you'll talk to me or somebody else with me in a Zoom room, and I'll just say, what are your pain points? Where are your pressures? Like, tell me about you. I want to know about you. And then I'll see if we have a solution in our toolbox to help you, right? But if I don't understand you, how can I help you?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because I have personal experience of changing website and social media companies 3 times because we just, my expectation was different, and I didn't take the time to clearly kind of discriminate between who I was using. And people didn't ask me the right questions about, what do I value? What's my practice all about? What's my story?
Right.
Yeah. So once we've found somebody, then things changed. So it's important to get that relationship right. Fantastic.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's, slot some personal time to make that happen. Just don't say, I'm going to go find a solution. It's like, be honest with yourself first on who you are and what your needs are, like you did, like, like your story and what you listen and what you need for you, and then branch out from there and then go, okay, what do these companies do? Does it meet my style? Will they help my pain points? Because again, in a small business world or any business world, you want a trusted partner that will have your back, and that you don't have to keep going back to and going, are you doing your job? Are you doing your job? Because that takes time that you don't have.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah. You want to delegate or you want to outsource it, and you just trust that it's happening and that they've got your back, like you say.
Yeah. Or I come and say, Google just changed, but we got it.
Yeah.
Right? We made Google happy with you again. No worries. Just wanted you to know. Google went through a little snit. We're all good, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Kelly. Question number 5. What is one valuable free action that someone listening to this could implement that would help them?
Well, I said take a deep breath. This is a really free action. We don't do this enough in life at all. This could be across a lot of things. First of all, take a deep breath. Get your favorite beverage, adult or otherwise. Take a little bit of time and just stop, right? And then write down, again, what your absolute needs are. And those might not be, I need Facebook posts or I need a blog. Like those are important. But internal needs, what are your internal needs that you need from a marketing company? Those are very important. So you write those down. And then you can write down, well, our Facebook page is a mess and I'm not sure about our website and I can never find us on our mobile phone and those things. So you write down your needs and where your pain points are. Those pain points are really, really important because if you don't work with a company, any vendor in any situation who can relieve your pain points, then it's probably not a good fit, right? You may not get 100% of the pain points, but you want to get a majority of them. Once you have that down, then you go and just start finding companies and researching them. Now, I know this sounds painful to some people to take the time, but if you invest a little time up front, and like you said, you changed marketing providers 3 times.
Yes.
That costs you money, that costs you time, that costs you frustration, right? And so if you had taken just that little bit of time ahead of time, you would have saved yourself a truckload of time down the road and have had a better quality of life and satisfaction rating around it.
Absolutely. Hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So just a little bit of a recap. So one, sit down and find out what it is you actually want. What do you actually need? But take some time to think about it rather than be reactive towards it. Right. And then find someone who can actually relieve you of your pain points. The things that are frustrating you right now. Maybe you find someone who can help you, and then do your research. And it is a bit of it's how you buy a laptop. Sometimes you compare 1, 2, and 3 and see. You got to compare apples with apples, and I know that's hard to do. But
it's hard because you just don't want to take the time to stop.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Okay, great. So let's go to question number 6. Only 2 questions to go, Kelly. What is one valuable free resource that you can direct people to that will help them?
Well, you can go to our website, beyondindigopets.com. And on there, we actually have a website checker that they can put their website in and get a free report. So
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a really valuable thing. Yeah.
Really valuable thing. And then also, if they want to talk to us, they can sign up and come in for a free consult, and we'll happily listen to them. And sometimes we're like, this is where you need to go. And they're like, okay, great. And other times they're like, I don't think you're a good fit for us. I'm like, great. I'd rather know that up front. Right. But come talk to us.
Yeah. I can't think of how that anybody wouldn't be interested in something when nothing up front, just some time spent talking to someone to see what their needs are. Yeah.
Gosh, and conversations we have not had enough of lately.
Yeah, absolutely. Finally, Kelly, question number 7. What's the one question I should have asked you that I failed to?
What's the one question that you failed to ask? That's really good. What can people do for themselves to keep themselves updated on marketing? Because I think partly the lack in the franticness around marketing in the veterinary space is the lack of knowledge. And veterinarians and people who are highly educated like to fall back on their knowledge. It gives comfort. It gives solace to know that I have the resources in my back pocket. Not having that knowledge kind of leaves you with a sick feeling to your stomach and you're kind of flailing around, right?
Yes, absolutely.
You don't have to be an expert in marketing, right? But you need to be an educated consumer. Just like, I'm going to go back to my dog. When I got a neuter, I knew the exact location on the body that the procedure was going to happen. And I knew the outcome was no puppies.
Okay. Yeah.
Everything in between of dropping the dog off at the door and getting him back and getting a little bit of home care, I really couldn't care less about. I don't care about what scalpel you use, what the procedures, the anesthesia, that's your job, right? But as an educated consumer, if he came back with an incision on his shoulder, I would be like, what surgery did we do? I don't think that's the neuter, right? Just trying to put it in an analogy. The same goes for marketing. You need enough to know what's going on out there so you can have conversations. I've actually had hospitals bring me their invoices when I've been speaking and said, this is what I'm paying for, and I have no idea what any of this means. And that has to be a really uncomfortable feeling. So learn enough to know at least what you're paying for, what the words are. And it's okay to ask your marketing provider, can you explain to me in English what all this means in 3 minutes or less? And they should be able to do that so you can be an educated, valuable consumer. And then also you should get reports of what marketing is being done.
Yes.
And they should be able to explain it. Like, again, I get a blood panel from my vet all the time, every 6 months. And she sits down with me and goes through the blood panel because I can't read it myself all the time. But she tells me the story, right? So learn. That's the question that you didn't ask is, please take the moment and learn. And if you're at conferences, set aside a time to go to one marketing course, just one at each conference, just one. You don't have to spend a whole day, but just keep up with it, right? Or take CEs online or things like that. It'll make you be a happier person running your own business.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, Kelly. Become an educated consumer. So around marketing in your practice, isn't that a good thing? Know what your outcome is. You don't have to know all the details of how it gets done. That we leave to somebody like you. And it reminds me of the first marketing failure that I had where they asked me what I wanted. And I told them what I wanted, but I wanted is not what I needed. Yeah. So we designed a website where I said, I want this color. I want the buttons here. And but I'm just a vet. I know nothing about what appeals to people, what's going to resonate with them, So I created a website that I liked, and it didn't work when my marketing efforts were like that. What I want is, and I want an expert, I want to say, I want more clients. Show me how to get there. I want more. I need more appointments of, etc. Show me how to get there. And yeah, absolutely. So really important. Thank you. Wow, Kelly, you gave us some really valuable insights into having Google as your own, as a customer.
It is.
Yeah. And things like heightening your brand awareness, building relationships, and even improving your search engine and your Google rankings, like we talked about, to name just a few. And I'm sure our listeners will take away some really valuable ideas and tips. And I just want to say once again, Kelly, thank you for taking the time to join us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.